We'll start back in 1991 when
Yep.
you first came to the club, and before you became chairman in 1993. What was your reason for coming to Coventry?
It was principally because I was great friends with the Robbins family, and Derek Robbins, who was Peter's father, and everybody knows Derek Robbins around Coventry. Derek had gone to go live in Cape Town, and he, for whatever reason, and I never really found out, he didn't particularly like John Poulton, and he kept nagging me to take over, and he would support me, and Peter then also had shares in the club, and so that's how it happened. And he knew I was born in Kenilworth, he knew I had been here, and I'd known him since I was 7 or 8 years of age, I suppose. So, and he just went on, and I'd sold my business, and so the timing was right. So I used to live in Surrey then, and I sold everything and came up to start and work here, or to basically be involved in the game anyway.
It's quite a time in English football, post-Italian 90, and then with the Sky Money and the Premier League.
None of that had started then, though, remember?
Yeah.
Because when I'd committed to come up here, it was a year before any of this was. It didn't suddenly happen.
Yeah.
I joined exactly November the 9th, 91. I remember the date very well. But it had been a year in the making and binding the shares, and basically Peter and I had to work to take control of it.
And when you became chairman of the club in 1993, what sort of...
Well, Peter stayed as chairman but didn't really do anything. And the origin of that was that to try and keep the Robbins continuity.
Yeah.
In effect, I was vice chairman, but I actually was the one here, and Peter was a sort of titular head at the time, but he didn't really get involved, and he wasn't involved when we were negotiating the Premier League. I did that with the others.
And what was it that made Peter step aside then?
He'd lost his sort of buzz for it, I suppose. Peter was less keen on the business aspects of it. He was actually keener on, doing his own thing, as it were. He'd never really worked, from a very young age, because Daddy looked after him very well, and he wasn't going to give up that too easily.
And once he did give it up and you became chairman in your own right,
yes.
What challenges did you face when you took over the club?
Well, the same ones that you always do, really. I mean, the major challenge when I first arrived was obviously money. That was the big thing. I remember the first week here, the bank bounced the cheque from the club for £100. Well, that tells you you're in trouble when that happened. So after a while we sorted a bit of that out, and I changed bank to a bank that I knew, and they were with us for the next 10 years as far as I was concerned. And that was a big plus. The other thing that happened was, to make sure that we could do it, was Peter and I gave personal guarantees to the bank so that we could have some money in the club. And we gave personal guarantees for about 750,000, which was a lot of money 25, 30 years ago. So that got us through the hump, as it were, till we got to the Premier League. Then it was a bit easier, but then it got harder again because more money came in from players wanted more money, and so it went on.